run it, they might already have a PlayStation, but if they have a PlayStation, they're just going to go, well, you have this solution. We know it works with your device. It's not too expensive. It is not the most technologically advanced thing, but it does have the essential thing, which is zero latency, and it's going to work right away. So, and it's likely, I'm not certain, but it's likely it's going to be less expensive, and even more importantly, it's going to be distributed by Sony's marketing and distribution network power.
But do you think that anybody who doesn't have a PlayStation 4 will buy the PlayStation 4 to get the PlayStation VR? Because that's to me where the battle will take place. People who already have PlayStation 4s are likely to want to buy a PlayStation VR if they're interested in VR at all. People with compatible machines are likely to buy an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive. But the people who are like, wait a minute, I don't have the obvious place to buy a VR helmet, are they going to want to buy a machine and a helmet? And in that case, is there enough of a difference between the three to make one the favorite?
Well, I think those people are probably, some of them might, but probably not going to have a PC that can run the PC devices anyway. So it becomes a very expensive proposition. Some of them will, and those might be okay. They might not want a PlayStation or game console, whatever. But it's going to be a minority. A lot of people are not going to have the right device anyway. And again, the experience is extremely important. So Sony is going to sell you a whole package and an experience. And in that case, I think it does matter. And some people might think if VR, again, this is if VR becomes a big thing. If it does, then you can point to the PlayStation. Maybe there's going to pack, $500-600. You can point to it and say, this is all you need. You set it up on your TV, a couple of cables, and you're good to go. And that is important.
Yeah,
but I want to play Halo in VR.
And wait for Microsoft to do their thing. But here's what I'd say in Vive's favor and in the Steam VR standards favor. And that is, if they can tie the two things they seem to be working on sort of in tandem here, Steam machines and Steam VR together, they may have the solution Tom's talking about. You may be able to walk into a store and say, all right, I want this bundle. That bundle is an Alienware Steam machine bundled with a HTC Vive ready to plug into your TV, plug and go, and it's $8.99 or something. That's a very compelling answer to what Patrick's saying. I'm not sure they're doing that or going to do that. I don't know. I think they should, and I hope they do. But and of all the devices I'm most excited about, it's the Vive I'm most excited about from a technical enthusiast standpoint. But I just don't think there's any denying that Sony's marketplace and where they stand in it gives them an advantage. They need to take advantage of this advantage. They need to make sure that they really go for this and really nail it. So there's a lot of questions that are even unanswerable, like, will the common public accept VR for what we all think it's going to be? We don't even know that yet, but all those things being equal, Sony has a real opportunity here, and if they're creating presence and low latency, and people aren't getting sick, and they're providing experiences that blow people away, they have the cards right now, and they really could do something. So I cannot wait to see how it shuffles out. Like, I want to jump in 2 years and go, all right, what happened? How do we do the first run? First run is really going to be weird, no matter what.
No one liked it, and it's gone away. There was one experience.
That was a thing 2 years ago? That's funny.
There was one indication that I think is also possibly something that is going to be exciting for the Sony side of things. And I'm joking saying I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I really do think they have a market and strategic and hardware advantage. But there was also a mention during their press conference of something that the people at Sony Entertainment Studios, the movie people, did, which was basically an experience where you would look through the eyes of someone walking a tightrope 110 stories high. And this is kind of the, you set up a space in a mall or a large store, Walmart or whatever, and you get people to try it out, and this is the kind of wow factor that is immediate. And then you can show a bunch of different applications. And remember that Sony also has a lot of marketing power and branding power with their movie properties, which can also become interesting in that sense. So I'm not saying Facebook has no chips to play, with the Oculus VR, but I really think Sony has a lot of things to if they play their cards right, they've got a great head start.
The implicit assumption that these guys are making, folks, by the way, if you didn't catch it, if you didn't notice it, is games are leading VR at the beginning too. These tightrope things, the entertainment tie-ins, those are all ways to get people interested. But it does seem to be shaken out that video games are what's front and center. And I know it's Paris Games Week, so that's going to be true. But I think that is kind of what everybody's looking at because it's the thing people have been working on the longest.
Yeah, I agree.
I would go farther.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, I would go farther. I think the people making video games have the advantage for other types of applications too, because you're talking about full 3D environments. Mostly, it might not be just that, but a lot of it is going to be that, and they already know how to deal with that stuff. And virtual reality is super complicated. So if you already know how to make games, you're probably going to have a head start. So
the Z-axis is real.
Yeah,
move through it.
You'll see companies. I agree with that. You'll see companies who are really good at games who are then suddenly become really good at creating a virtual tour of the Leaning Tower of Pisa or a virtual tour of some old tomb.
That stuff strikes me like CD-ROMs, though. Right?
It does.
What CD-ROMs can do. We can have encyclopedias and virtual tours. You know what we do with them? We put productivity software and games on them. Oh, and now we don't even use them at all.
But think about those were always terrible and dumb. If you let me walk through tombs and push a sarcophagus lid aside,
they weren't considered that terrible and dumb back in the Encarta days of 1993.
Because what they really wanted is what we kind of can do now. Because what they could do then was crap. What we can do now is for real. I can lift that sarcophagus. I can lean in there. I can pull the staff of Ra out of there, inspect it in front of me. Interactive environments, not just here's where a little petroglyph was. I mean, full-on, rubbing dirt off of a message on the side of the wall, stuff you could never do in actual Egypt now because it's all too protected. There's real opportunities for more than games, but some of that coming from game companies.
Or go on Mars, or go on Tatooine. Who has a great relationship with
we always say that this time it's different because it's better than the other time. I don't know. I'm just saying. Hey, I got something you can use right now in your very area, Mr. Scott Johnson. Our pick of the day comes from Jason in Sandy, Utah.
I was born there.
Just there south of Salt Lake City. He says, I came across a news article about traffic in my city. They mentioned an app called Enlighten at connectedsignals.com/enlighten.php. The app connects to the traffic network for stoplights. It determines your position to know when you're at a stoplight, gets the information from the network for the light status, and then lets you know how much longer the light will be red. When you're stopped at a red light, it has on-screen indicators as well as an audible notification telling you approximately how many seconds until it turns green, then makes a noise a couple of seconds before the light turns green. New feature of the app has it give an audible ding when you are approaching a light to let you know if it will be green or red by the time you get to the intersection.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I was actually born there, but I also would argue that some of the traffic there kind of sucks. It'd be nice to be able to do some of that. I'm going to try this app out, and this is available both Google Play and iOS and the web. So
and the web, interesting.
I assume so. This this enlighten.php link. I thought it said you could do something from online. Let me don't quote me. Whoops. I'll figure it out.
Let's say Google Play and the App Store on iOS for sure.
I guess not the web. Anyway, that's pretty awesome. I wish every small municipality had something like this.
And of course, Patrick was very excited to add his own pick until I mentioned that Jeff had already picked it last Thursday. But you second that pick of PBS Spacetime, right?
Absolutely. Until I started watching it last week, I apologize to everyone listening because obviously I'm alone in that case. I had a ridiculous Newtonian and Euclidean concept of time and space, and I did not realize that they were completely outdated. And I watched a few of those videos. There's a series of maybe 3 or 4 videos on curved space-time and the concept of relativity, and it is mind-blowing, and I don't understand how I haven't been made aware of this. I knew kind of what relativity meant and what it was about, kind of, but they really dive into it, and it's kind of a slightly more academic version of another channel I love, which is called Crash Course. But they bring knowledge to us. This is the dream of the internet, and I was saying jokingly, there's so much intelligence and cleverness on the internet, and there are still people who are like, oh, the internet is full of idiots and full of... Yes, maybe that's what you're choosing to look at. Maybe it reflects on you more than it reflects on the internet.
The internet is now the world. It's not the entire world, but it's made up of enough people that you can say, yeah, the internet's full of idiots because the world's got idiots, but it's also got really smart people because the world's got really smart.
It's also got PBS Spacetime, an excellent YouTube channel that you should go watch right now.
Send your picks to us, feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. By the way, YouTube stuff available on YouTube Red as of today. It launched today. In fact, as a Google Play Music subscriber, I got it immediately. When I logged onto YouTube, it said YouTube Red up in the upper left corner. You could try it out for free for 30 days if you're not already a subscriber. Michael wrote in and said, I've been listening to the discussion on YouTube Red and thought I would share this anecdote. My 11-year-old daughter is a heavy YouTube user, so I told her about the new Red offering. Me, did you hear about the new YouTube Red that gets rid of all the ads? Isabella, I like the ads. They're funny. Me, well, this would remove all the ads. Isabella, does it cost anything? Me, $10. Isabella, that's stupid.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's eye-opening in a weird way.
Yeah. And then we got an email from Alan in Montreal complaining about the fact that YouTube Gaming is not coming to Canada yet. He's like, I'm using Twitch because YouTube Gaming don't work in Canada. YouTube Gaming, you're right, available in the US, UK, and Japan right now, so they haven't expanded everywhere in the world. And then Nick wrote in, and he has been playing Halo 5 since it launched in Australia, and wanted to point out that Halo 5 is not the first Xbox One game to do variable resolution. Digital Foundry often finds that games that do variable resolution on the Xbox One but have fixed resolution on the PS4 often have a better frame rate on the Xbox One, which is something I really appreciate, says Nick. Slow down and even stuttering frame rates are far worse to me than a little drop in resolution. That's what we were talking about with Eric Franklin yesterday. Do you guys feel the same way? You'd rather have frame rate and maybe some lower resolution from time to time than the opposite?
Yeah, frame rate, especially in gaming, frame rate is a huge thing for me, and I would rather, like Patrick was even kind of ties back to the whole VR thing. If you've got an experience that eschews a little bit of detail in favor of fluidity and speed, I always kind of tend to go that way. How about you, Patrick?
I like to have everything. That's why I play on PC.
Dive. All right, that is it for the Daily Tech News Show today. Thank you, gentlemen. A pleasure to have both of you together today. Of course, Patrick Beja, usually on Tuesdays right here on Daily Tech News Show, and you can find his English language podcast at FrenchSpin.com, including Pixels. If you're into some high-level gaming talk, you do some sophisticated good stuff over there, my friend.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we do talk about video games on Pixels. We talk about world affairs and world opinions and views on the Phileas Club. We recently recorded a new episode of Overwatchers with my good friend Garrett Weinzierl, and that's available at amove.tv if you like that game. And if maybe, like some people, you didn't get into the beta, and you might want to learn a little bit more about what the game feels like, you could go to amove.tv and listen to Overwatchers.
I can live through you, is what you're saying.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Scott Johnson also got into the beta for Overwatch and hosts The Instance, as well as many other fine podcasts at frogpants.com. Anything else tell folks about? I know I need to let you go so you can work on that book.
Oh my gosh, the book is almost done. We're in the home stretch. We're getting very close on it, but I am also in the, as Patrick calls it, the beta for Overwatch, and it's really good. I would call it beta, but that's just me. It's a fantastic game, and we talk about that game on shows like The Boop Show at frogpants.com/boop. We will definitely be talking about it this weekend on The Instance on Friday. There is absolutely no way around that, so if you don't want to hear about that, I would not listen to that show this coming Friday. And everything else, just go to frogpants.com and keep track of me on Twitter at Scott Johnson.
Hey, thanks to the patrons who make this show possible. We could not do it without you. You guys are the best. Folks giving us anywhere from $1 a month, that's 5 cents a show, on up to much, much more than that. You're too generous, too kind. If you're willing to be one of them, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Also, if you liked parts of the show particularly, not just this episode, any episode this year, submit the part you like, bit.ly/bestofdtns for our best of show at the end of the year. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com, and visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back tomorrow with Justin Robert Young. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Laka 2. Wow. Thanks. Buy me a Coke.
You know what I'm looking forward to is that roundtable thing you're doing again in December.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, the quarterly earnings call. Not earnings call.
Fun.
Yeah. Good.
I like that.
Guys, I'm going to run.
All right,
Thank
yes,
you
good
very
night,
much.
Patrick.
Thank you,
Go
chat room.
to sleep, you weirdo.
Thank you, my friend.
Scott, talk to you on Friday. Everyone else, talk to you on Tuesday.
See you then. Apologies for people watching the video live. Apparently, like, first half wasn't there, and then it just popped in. So I don't know what happened there.
We did have a glitch earlier.
Yeah, we did have that glitch right before we started. It's obviously tied into that somehow.
Scott, were you talking about the predictions show or the? You were
That's
talking
what
about.
I mean.
Yeah. Because we haven't booked, I don't think, the taping of the analyst show.
I thought we did. You know what? I'm mixing the two up. That's all.
That's all right. We're gonna do it again.
I
We're
really
doing
like
both.
that though. It's so much fun, that thing.
Yeah. Real people asking real questions.
We did that last year. I remember that, right? Don't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't even last year. It was just a quarter ago.
No. Dude, I don't know what happened in the last quarter.
I don't remember what happened yesterday.
It's one of those months for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
So what should we call this show?
Oh, would you like to know?
No, I'm looking at showbot.tv.
IBM controls the weather.
Sorry, Mario. The princess is in another phone.
Mm.
Ooh. Dang.
Might have to put a ban on princesses in.
1 gigawatt? That's a bolt of lightning! City of Virtual Light, I like. Very poetic.
Oh, wow.
That's really nice.
All of the PlayStation VR models in the videos are bathed in a blue light. Does that mean if you use the PlayStation VR, it just turns everything blue around you?
I think it means they had blue lighting.
Well, yes. That's definitely
Or
what.
that.
But this app he recommended is weird.
Ah, Ellie's back.
Sorry.
That's
all right.
that's just his choice of entertainment that's happening right now.
Oh, okay, that's Roger.
Yeah, baby's
That's
asleep.
not Ellie.
Let's see. Announce chime. I'm trying to figure out this traffic thing.
Cloudy with a chance of answers.
Weird.
I'll pick the City of Virtual Light.
Yeah, I kinda like
Nothing
that.
seems to be
It's really-
capturing anybody's attention. So.
Sorry.
I like that one.
That's the only one we all remarked on.
Yeah.
Boy, I get the emails really late off of our server. Interesting.
Which one? You mean the?
DTNS. Like, Tom will have already put it on the show, and then it will just show up in my email.
Jeez, Jenny, get with the times. Just.
I know. I'm old.
I'm just trying to get along.
I'm really curious to see whether this video actually shows up in YouTube or not.
Yeah, if the whole thing got recorded.
I think it did. The fact that it eventually showed up, I think, means that it's all going to be there.
I'm still kind of interested in that phone or that email you got about the daughter. That cracks me up.
Oh, that came in like right before the show.
I mean, I'm not, now that I think about it, like if I said, I wonder if I asked Nick and just said, all right, 15-year-old, you'd pay to not have any ads on YouTube.
Well, it's with her saying like the ads are funny. I'm like, that's because she's using probably a YouTube dominated by her. So the ads are targeted towards her. So she doesn't get the boring thing about colorectal cancer that I'm always skipping. She gets some fun like kids toy thing.
I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did.
It's horrible. Like, oh God, not this. And then it's the one that's like 3.5 minutes long.
Mine are always movies, TV shows, and like Best Buy commercials.
I get a lot of movies too.
But yeah, like movie ads. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're so good at targeting those ads in the way that we weren't when we were kids with whatever TV show we were watching. Maybe the kids don't care because they're getting what they want.
Yeah, the ads are better for kids. Could that be true?
Think about it. I don't think I hear any adults in my demographic. They're the ones that are complaining. I don't hear any kids.
Yeah.
Speaking of kids stuff, I just watched the pilot for Thundercats yesterday on my some random channel on my Roku, and I was just
new one or the old one?
The old one.
Oh, I love the old one.
And I was just like, wow, this steals from everywhere. Like
what's interesting about the pilot is that the Thundercats were originally naked.
Yep.
But when they landed on Third Earth, they had to wear clothes.
Yep.
Revealing clothes.
Leaving Eden.
But they were just cats.
Yeah.
I know. Except that if Chitara really was a cat, she wouldn't have a human anatomy on her. Like.
Well.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. It was really interesting. It was like, oh, they stole that from Star Wars. Oh, they stole that from Star Trek. Oh, here goes this. It's like amazing. And then because I was watching pilots of things, I watched the pilot of Enterprise again, and that was fun.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, getting from here to there.
That's like.
I just want to make.
But my time is finally near. Scott.
Mad.
I wonder if kids today look at shows like Thundercats and other '80s cartoons and see it in the same way we used to think of like our parents watching the Lone Ranger or like
Betty Boop
or like the Howdy Doody show. It's like it's so quaint.
Well, yeah, that's a really good question because Looney Tunes I used to watch like crazy when I was a kid, and that was already 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
And yet I loved it.
Yep.
Even though some of the references I was like, I don't want to get that.
But your access to it was new. You know,
yeah.
Like your ability to
but
get.
But then showing me Howdy Doody, I would be like, wow, that's old. Yeah. Like it didn't hold up.
Yeah, you're right. Here's with some experience in this, I think there's two important things you have to do. So Roger gets to do this now. You got to create an environment where the things that were culturally impactful to you, either entertainment-wise or whatever, when you were a kid, you got to share it with the kids. Mm-hmm. Then they'll appreciate it. But
or they're too young to protest.
Yes, exactly, and they'll learn to appreciate it. My kids love this stuff, including Thundercats, by the way. They love it. They love Super Friends. They love all the old stuff because I kept introducing it to them, and they love it now. We'll watch it together now. Just the other night, I caught Nick again watching episodes of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
I love the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, which is, again, a show that's way out of Tom and I's time in terms of when we were born, yet we had this access to it and had this love for it. Now it's the entire thing's on Netflix, and my kids cannot get enough of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Really?
Mary Tyler Moore was my first TV crush.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, like watching the Dick Van Dyke Show in the afternoons.
I was like, what's her name from Gilligan's Island? Not Ginger, the other one.
Marianne?
Marianne.
Not Ginger, the other one.
Yeah.
Obviously stuck with you.
Yeah, well, you know.
We grow up. We get over these things. I understand.
My first TV crush was John Eric Hexum from Voyagers in 1982.
Oh,
wow.
Show with the kid and the guy.
Yeah,
I love
went
that
around
show.
through the back lots of LA studios.
That was great.
Yep. That show was very sophisticated time travel storytelling for 1982.
What's interesting was the kid was a know-it-all. He knew all the history.
Yeah. He was the one. And they made John Eric Hexum the dumb blonde who could fight, and then they had the smart kid, and smart kids are a pain. Was the I loved Voyagers. Oh
smart kids are annoying.
What was that 80s show with the guy from the Hardy Boys, the actor from the Hardy Boys?
John Cassidy?
Yeah, not John Cassidy. The older
Tom,
brother.
Whatever. Yeah.
Remember, it was a show that was based off an Isaac Asimov concept, and he originally helped co-produce the show. It was really great. It was
about what was it about?
He was just basically this super genius that worked at a lab, and he occasionally it was a murder mystery. He would just solve murders and other things like Murder, She Wrote. I'm trying to remember that. Was it Probe?
Was it called Murder, He Geniused?
But I remember it because one episode they had to track down this killer chimp, and he said that he mentioned to his aide or his partner, saying that you have to be careful. A chimp can pull your arm out of your socket, and that stuck with me for some reason. Chimps.
I really hope. Speaking of chimps, I hope that we get to see Y the Last Man as a TV series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to definitely happen.
Didn't the movie get pooped, and then now the series is in?
Yeah, I think that's. Is that right, Jenny?
Yes.
That's where it is.
I put that in the story pool for the morning stream.
Wait, is that Brian Vaughn or?
Yep. Brian K. Vaughn.
Yep.
Guess what show they'll unless it's HBO. Guess which Brian K. Vaughn comic will never make it to TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Saga.
Saga will never make it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want.
Okay, but fantasy casting. Who should play Ampersand?
I
don't know.
Bonzo. I can't think of any other monkeys.
I love that movie or that comic.
Yeah, it doesn't come out fast enough.
I know. I agree. It's so good though.
Isn't it done?
What, Saga? No.
Oh, not Saga. Sorry.
Yeah, Y the Last Man.
Y the Last Man is done.
I thought you were
I have all of them just behind me.
Saga is so interesting.
Yeah, I'm only like 5 books in or whatever. I'm really slow on that.
Ooh, I've been reading this cool post-apocalyptic comic I should recommend to you guys called The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. Tell me more.
It's really good. This little author named Robert Kirkman.
Is it based on that TV show?
Yeah, I think it's based on the TV show. But it diverges. It tells a different story. So if you watch the TV show, you can still enjoy the comic.
Okay.
I still want them to do a BPRD TV show because that would work well, very well.
BPRD?
Yeah, the organization that Hellboy works for.
Oh, that would be good.
Gone off into its
like
own
Agents of BPRD.
Yeah. Well, it's called the series is called BPRD, and it's very interesting because basically it's another post-apocalyptic, except that hell really actually has come to Earth, and it's this organization that used to work for the U.S. government, but the government no longer exists because the world's just ravaged with all these
demons.
Horrible. And it's funny because all the demons and creatures are all kind of very what's it, H.P. Lovecraft-esque, gigantic, unknowable,
Fatang.
Yeah, kind of thing, like things that exactly what the hell is this and how do we kill it? But it's great. I love the series.
Stuff. Yeah, that would be awesome. It's funny. I've been watching The Strain and I kept getting a Hellboy vibe off of it, and I couldn't figure out why. And it occurs to me that it's because Del Toro is a producer on that thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's also another comic book that would never make it to TV unless it was HBO is Chew.
Oh, yeah. Chew's
that
great.
One kind of creeps me out.
I love Chew.
I tried reading it, but
why? Because they eat humans? Why?
I don't know why. You know what it is? Like, what was that Korean movie? Was it Thirst? The one that was like a weird it wasn't weird, but it was a Korean vampire movie called Thirst or something where this guy gets bitten, but he doesn't realize it, and he has this thirst for human blood and flesh. But the way they do the sound, because I watched it with Eileen, we were over at the bridge, I couldn't sit through the first 10 minutes because, it was just totally messing with my head. And Mauricio told me later, just because of the way they did the sound, it has that effect on certain people. And every time I try to read Chew, I think of that movie, and I just get all shivery.
All right, I'm gonna have to call time on this conversation because I have to go to the vet myself personally. It's cheaper.
You getting your shots, Tom? You getting your shots?
It's cheaper that way. You just say, I'm a horse, and then they give you tranquilizers. It's amazing. Try it sometime. I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.